What's up, guys? John here. A major cyber attack could be right in front of us. The Biden administration is issuing a warning to America.
Biden administration is warning governors across the country to be on alert for cyber attacks.
As well as a very large three-letter agency, several of them, are all telling us that the next big problem could very well be the U.S. ports going down and the entire U.S. infrastructure being challenged in a way in which we have never before seen. I'm going to show you. Look at these websites, for example. Everybody knows all these companies. Everybody knows all these, major players. And what they're saying and how this all connects is something we all need to pay very close attention to. If you live in America, you got to pay attention to what's unfolding and what we're likely walking into. This year, I believe, is going to be very, very stressful in relation to what we've experienced in the past. I think every single year it's just going to get a little bit harder. But I think 2024 and 2025, are going to just change everything for America. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't the case, but look at what they're saying. Look at what's actually unfolded. For example, last week, you had AT&T. AT&T, they were hit with a 73 million person cyber incident.
AT&T is investigating how the personal data of more than 70 million of its current and former customers ended up on the dark web,
which exposed social security numbers, birthdays, passcodes. You had phone numbers, everything, email addresses, all exposed, and it's forgotten. 1 week later, nobody talks about this anymore. Mr. Cooper, for example, 14 million customers, all of their confidential and personal information exposed 4 months ago. Nobody talks about this anymore. Just yesterday, 2 days ago, you had 911. You had all of this. They said cyber attacks, right? South Dakota, Nevada, Texas, Nebraska. They were saying Florida. All these different problems that are ramping up gradually, kind of normalizing the insanity. Well, look at what they're saying the big event will look like to help you and position you for what I believe is going to be, a different type of America. I believe this situation could change everything we know about cybersecurity, everything we know about banking, everything we know about, functioning in America. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. YouTube will share this content to educate the people about what's going on in the U.S. economy. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself what I believe is going to be the greatest rug pull in American history, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in a credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for Monday. Take a look at this. So look at the website, right? You can see the URL. And this is February 21st, so follow me, the last 8 weeks, how this is ramping up. So Biden administration announces an initiative to bolster cybersecurity of U.S. ports. Today, the Biden administration will issue an executive order to bolster the security of the nation's ports alongside a series of additional actions that will strengthen maritime cybersecurity, fortify our supply chains, and strengthen the United States industrial base. The administration will also announce its intent to bring domestic onshore manufacturing capacity back to America to provide safe and secure cranes at U.S. ports, thanks to $20 billion investment in U.S. ports infrastructure under President Biden's Investing in America agenda. Now, this came out February 21st, right? Then you have this, April 17th, 3 days ago. Biden administration, U.S. ports prep for cyber attacks as nationwide infrastructure is targeted. A top Biden cybersecurity official urged the nation's ports in a joint call on Wednesday to have their data encrypted, rapidly patch any vulnerabilities in critical systems, and have a well-trained cyber team as hacks targeting key U.S. infrastructure increase. Ann Neuenberger, Deputy National Security Advisor for Cyber and Emerging Technology, cited President Biden signing in February of an executive order to strengthen cybersecurity at U.S. ports. The nation's port system is the main point of entry for trade, employs 31 million people, and generates over $5.4 trillion for the U.S. economy. More needs to be done across the ports and supply chains, right? Then you look at this. Look at the website. And what they're saying came out 2 days ago. China's government poses broad and unrelenting threat to U.S. critical infrastructure. So, you look at this, factually, this is what they're saying is going to happen. I personally think that the odds of this happening are very high. And the reason for it is they've been warning about this for the last couple of years, that the big cyber event is likely coming. So could this be, months away, weeks away? Potentially. FBI Director Christopher Wray on April 18th warned national security and intelligence experts as well as students that risk the government of China poses to U.S. national and economic security are upon us now. And the U.S. critical infrastructure is a prime target. Remember, leave the world behind, right? Like the same, you can't make this stuff up. Like this is a crazy world that we live in. The PRC, People's Republic of China, has made it clear that it considers every sector that makes our society run as fair game in its bid to dominate the world stage, and that its plan is to land low blows against civilian infrastructure to try to induce panic and break America's will to resist. Now, what they said here is pretty shocking. So look at this. They said that understanding the threat, the overall threat, the Chinese Communist Party is a hybrid one that involves both crime, counterintelligence, and cybersecurity, and which the FBI is countering with resources from 3 missional spheres. The threat is partially driven by the CCP's aspirations to wealth and power, Ray said, adding that China wants to seize economic development in areas most critical to tomorrow's economy, even if doing so requires theft. The Chinese government has tried to filter intellectual property, technology, research from every industry in the United States economy. But the CCP also wants to prevent the United States from being able to get in the way of potential future crisis between China and Taiwan in 2027. He said Americans are starting to feel the effects of this sprint, he said, pointing to cyber intrusions and criminal activity as early deterrence efforts by the CCP, right? Then you look at what the IMF said. The IMF came out about 11 days ago, saying that, and you can see the website right here, rising cyber threats pose serious concerns for financial stability. Now, what they say is going to happen in the event of a cyber event is devastating for the people of America. So they said cyber attacks have more than doubled since 2020. While companies have historically suffered relatively modest direct losses from cyber attacks, some have experienced a much heavier toll. U.S. credit reporting agency Equifax, for example, paid more than $1 billion in penalties. They suffered a major data leak impacting 150 million people in 2017. As we show in a chapter, 2024 Global Financial Stability Report, the risk of extreme losses from cyber incidents is increasing. Such losses could potentially cause funding problems for companies, even as it jeopardizes their solvency. Well, the companies are already having funding problems. The Bank Term Funding Program, that halted March 11th. You're starting to see banks already starting to pull back. You have $2 trillion in capital that has to get refinanced, held by companies over the next 24 months. And if they can't refinance, a lot of these companies are going to go under. And that's exactly what they say here. The size of these extreme losses have more than quadrupled since 2017 to $2.5 billion. And indirect losses like reputational damage or security upgrades are substantially higher. The financial sector is uniquely exposed to cyber risk. Financial firms, even greater amounts of sensitive data and transactions that they handle, are often targeted by criminals seeking to steal money or disrupt economic activity. Attacks on financial firm accounts for 1/5 of total, which the banks are most exposed. Incidents in the financial sector could threaten financial and economic stability if they erode confidence in the financial system, disrupt critical services, and cause spillovers to other institutions. For example, a severe incident at a financial institution could undermine trust and, extreme cases, lead to market sell-offs or run on banks. Although and this would be like a perfect, in the event that this happened, and they were talking about the fear of bank runs, Janet Yellen was talking about this, in the event that this situation unfolded and the bank run started to unfold at the same time, maybe for this reason, maybe for different reasons, this would be the perfect reason to say, we need to really protect the people. We need to change. We need to change things in a way that's going to be more, security conscious for the American people, for the U.S. economy. Although no significant cyber runs have occurred thus far, our analysis suggests modest and somewhat persistent deposit outflows have occurred to small U.S. banks after a cyber attack. Cyber incidents that disrupt critical services like payment networks could also severely affect economic activity. For example, a December attack at the Central Bank of Lesotho disrupted a national payment system, preventing transactions from domestic banks. Another consideration is that financial firms increasingly rely on third-party IT service providers and may do so more with emerging roles in AI, Such external providers could improve operational resilience, but also expose financial industry to system-wide shocks. For example, in 2023, ransomware attacks on a cloud IT service provider caused simultaneous outages at 60 credit unions. With global financial systems facing significant and growing cyber risk from increasing digitalization and geopolitical tensions, as shown in the chapter, policies and governance frameworks the firm must keep pace. Now, what they've even said is that some of these problems could push companies to the point of insolvency. And what I believe could unfold at that same exact time. If banks are no longer going to be lending to certain companies, and companies are running into hardship, a lot of private equity companies, venture capital firms, a lot of investors can be able to step in and buy a lot of these companies for pennies on the dollar, right? And they're going to be able to reposition these companies with these upgrades, and it's almost going to be like a value add. Where, imagine buying a house and you want to fix it up to flip it. The same thing could be happening with companies, where these large institutional investors can be able to step in and buy out these other distressed companies, turn them around, maybe buy up other companies, roll them together and flip them. We could see a lot of change unfolding with just one big cyber attack. One big event could push all of this change. And when you have, these three-letter agencies talking about this, when you have the White House moving in this direction, warning everyone that we could see a major, cyber attack, they invested $20 billion in U.S. infrastructure just 2 months ago. 2 months ago, right? And they're warning of this just 3 days ago. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're walking into a big one? Do you think we're walking into a major cyber event, a cyber nightmare? Drop below, let's have a conversation about this. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself, what I believe is going to be a major rug pull in the U.S. economy and a major wealth transfer, the biggest that we'll ever see, especially over the next year or two, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in a credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for Monday. Catch you next video.